I've asked Jay, Brent, and Glenn if they'll just share with us from a leadership perspective, from leaders to leaders, and I'm going to trust them with whatever direction it goes. So, thank you for blessing us by being here, Brent, Glenn. Thank you, Jay.
All right. I want to say I was so inspired by the For Africa. That was, I don't know, I got it last year, but I got it more this year. So I'm going to be a bigger part of that. It's super exciting. So I'm going to challenge everyone here, because my favorite quote is, all it takes for the evil to prevail in this world is for good men and good women to do nothing. So I'm going to match everybody's gift here. So whatever you do, if it's 5,000 Rand, if it's 20,000 Rand, I'm going to match it up to 50,000.
I already put in 100,000.
Well, let me finish. Let me finish. Up to $50,000 US. There's Glenn and there's Brent. Okay, but so 150. But if you whatever you give, I'm going to match it. And it's just not a blank check. No, he can do the blank check. My check, I got kids, I got expenses. But so is that cool? So in case because I remember when I heard people do that, I was like, God, it's 500 Rand. Well, it's 1,000 Rand, right? Also, it'll be 2,000. So is that cool? So we'll do that. All right, good. That's all I want to say. But you start. You kick us off.
No, well, first of all, thanks for obviously hosting. Obviously, Brent pioneered the BUILD conference. How many years ago?
3-4 years ago.
3-4 years ago, and it's been just going crazy now around the world. This is an agent-led event. This is not a corporate event. This was not done. I don't know if there was any corporate resources.
No, there wasn't, Glenn.
I deserve that.
That is awesome.
No, the cool thing about this model is that agents get to actually be owners and act like owners and participate like owners in a way that no other brand does. And so that's why this event is taking place, because every one of you in this room have the exact same opportunity as everybody else, whether it be Brent, myself, Jay, Jen Jones, Stephen. Everybody's got the exact same opportunity. It's just whatever it is that you want to put into it, and then the results that come from that. It's pretty amazing. I was going to talk about maybe a little bit later when I'm on stage, but I'll touch on it. One of the cool things, and I know Brent was involved in, I think you were in Amway at one time, pretty big Amway guy. Yep. And I was in Amway like twice or 3 times, but Brent was actually successful.
Brent was successful.
Yeah, he actually made it work. But one of the things that's really cool about the network marketing industry, I don't know, Jay, you've been in that industry at one point too. Jay and Ashley, but it actually, when you're in an industry where you actually treat the field as respected members of the organization, people show up differently. They're the exact same people that went to work the previous day in whatever job they had, whether it be as a real estate agent or what have you. But once you create an opportunity where you have, in theory, unlimited potential, people show up happier, more collaborative. They like to be around people who are big thinkers, and people think bigger in these types of structures. And that was the thing that really nobody had ever done it in real estate before. I think there were some people who tried it, but nobody got it off the ground. And then obviously we toiled away for a number of years, and then folks like Brent and Jay and others jumped in, and and then this thing really took off. But it really was around this whole idea of unlimited potential embodied in the business model that everybody's a part of. So that really kind of kicked it all off, and here we are.
I just want to say, talking about leadership, because Stephen brought it up, and by the way, I just want to say this event has been, Stephen, thanks for putting this on. Where'd he go? Where'd he go? There he is. Here's something I think is critical about leadership. And it goes back to the transparency. We're pretty real people, in case you didn't see that yesterday. We're going to deliver what we feel from the heart, and I believe leading from the heart and leading by example. I can tell you right now, we are always going to lead by, we're not going to tell people to do something that we're not willing to do. Because if you tell somebody, there's one thing to motivate people, and there's one thing for them to see you doing what you're motivating to do. And, you know, I'm going to tell you right now, we felt so welcome. You know, Ashley brought up the other day, and I'm going to tell y'all something that's very powerful. Ashley said yesterday when we came out of the build, she goes, you know, something I noticed about everybody here in South Africa is y'all are kind of touchy-feely, which we're touchy-feely. We hug, we laugh, we put the energy. And she was like, you know, I was talking to people and they were kind of, you know, dialing me in and touching me, and it made me feel good. And I want to tell y'all a story. We did a leadership event, and we kind of open our thing up to everybody in our group. We have 1,950 agents. We're very blessed. Thank you, Glenn, for creating this model. And y'all are all going to have big groups too. But we did an event 2 weeks ago in a little town called Gatlinburg, and we had 120, 130 agents come. And I was in the karaoke joint. Do y'all do karaoke over here? Yeah. Okay. We were in the karaoke joint, and this lady was there, and I was kind of connecting with her because I love to go around. Hey, what's up? And I was connecting with her, and she shared with me some things she was going through. We're all going through stuff. Yesterday was not about us. You know, we're going through stuff. Y'all are going through stuff. And she said, she had told me her name's Robin Jones, and I didn't know Robin. We're at this event. We're in a karaoke bar, and she starts sharing with me what she's going through. She lost a son. Another son in the same accident was paralyzed. And she said to me that night, she goes, you know something? I didn't have the money to even come here. I had to borrow the money to drive to Gatlinburg. And we, you know, in that situation, Ashley and I try to be very generous and don't charge people to come to it. We just fund it. And like, it's not that, this is fancy. You got to pay a ticket. This is fancy. Ours is very simplified. And she said, I didn't even have the money to come to this, but I came. And she told the story about and so the last day, Ashley and I are kind of wrapping the event up, and I just on a whim, I just kind of caught her eyeballs, and I was like, Robin Jones, I need you to come up here. And so she came up, and the most impactful thing that she said, you know, she told her story. I was like babbling, crying from up there. But you know what she said? She said, you know what? Everybody's been so kind, and everybody's been so, I've learned so much about trying to get my business. But she said, you don't understand something. You know what the biggest thing about this event was? And I mean, it really touched me. But she said, when you would come up and just, people came up and just kind of put their hand on her. And she goes, you don't understand what that connection means. And it's not about the money, it's about connecting. So as a leader, I want to challenge you guys, connect. Put your heart into this business. People can read fake people. Go into those listing appointments to learn about those people and connect. And to me, that's one of the biggest things. Lead by example in leadership.
Right, so thank you.
You guys say something? All right. I'll say something.
Watch the lights.
Nice go.
Yeah. Your turn. Couple things. I look around this room, so impressed with the caliber of the people I see in this room, and you know, name a room in South Africa right now: Cape Town, Johannesburg, Portofino, wherever. His events aren't fancy like this because where he lives is like Portofino.
Dang, Brent.
So he's from the country, okay? Like they got raccoons and stuff. But I love Jay and Ashley so much. They're just amazing. Can I tell them the one thing about your sister? No.
You can say whatever you want to say.
Brent,
Oh, I
we can't
can't.
control Brent.
So in America, we have these people with long beards and crazy hair, and they're like, it's called Duck Dynasty. I don't know if you've ever seen that.
Y'all
That's
know
her
it?
sister. Her sister's married to Woody on Duck Dynasty. So like, if you guys want to come hang out with them, just call them. No.
Redneck, call us
That's kind of a
rednecks.
cool
They
thing.
call us rednecks.
Yeah. Okay. So I just want to say this. Number one, the culture counts. This is a very special group. It'll never be this small again. Number two, this business belongs to the promoters. Steve's going to get the biggest bounce. I guarantee you, he had sleepless nights. I do these things. I just did an event in Maui that was like, ooh, the room block, and then Cabo, ooh, the room block, and it's hundreds of thousands of dollars. We did Build last summer. It was 2.7 million.
Wow.
It's like a, and 2 months before the event, we were $1.5 million in the hole, and I don't know, that's something, right? And it's a lot. But so he did an event 7 years ago, and I showed up to it. It was in the Marriott Fort Lauderdale. Do you remember that event?
Yep.
7 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Did you lose money or make money at that event?
Oh,
Do
we
you
lose
remember?
money on every.
Lose money on every event. Now you and I have had to like retrain ourselves. Say we invest money.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
We don't lose money, we invest money,
Yep.
all of you. And so I've invested a lot of money myself. And you heard him, we just put the bill. We don't, right? And so
Ours was very cheap. Remember, we're in country. We're in Portofino. We're in Portofino.
hey, $50 is still $50. Now, but here's the deal. I showed up to his event with 19 guests on my front line and 90 in my organization. So what I want you to do next year is I want you to break what I did. And I had 6 months, you have a year. I had sponsored 14, I brought them all, convinced them all to come. Do I have to help pay for an event ticket? Do I have to, you want to share a room with Bob or Jill and get two professional women sharing rooms? I do it in Cabo. I've been putting women with women and guys with guys, and he'll be like, oh man, it's a lot of money. I go, what if I could cut it in half? You're rooming in half. If you share a room with somebody, right? We have a woman, she drove here, I don't know if she's in the room, but she took a bus from Johannesburg and it was all night. It was, I don't know, it seemed like a really, how many hours in a bus is that from Johannesburg? 16. I got nothing to complain about in the jet, whatever. It's still a jet going 600 miles an hour at 40,000 feet, right? It's a blessing. But so the challenge to you is next year, you want people to catch the vision. Do you feel the vision? Do you feel that like where people want to be a part of movement? But you're here. The challenge is stop coming by yourself.
Yep.
So next year, I have a guy, Clark Broom. He's only got 50 people in his group, which is good. His first year, he's got 30 coming to Cabo, flying internationally, passports, and leaving, flying a long way, 30, and that'll turn into 300. You need people to see the vision. Being here to hear more about For Africa. I caught it last year, but it clicked this year, and I said, I want to be more a part of this. I want to invest in Africa. I want to be a bigger part of this, and I will be a bigger part of this. And sometimes you give in faith. You don't know where it's going to come from. If you don't give when you have nothing, you'll never give when you have something.
Yeah,
I'll say that again. You give $1, give a pound. Pound. It's wrong number. Rand. Sorry. Give a ruble. Give something. Give love. Sometimes all you can give is a hug, right? But a hug is the difference between life and death for some people. So I want to say that, and I'm going to turn this back over to you and challenge you next year. That's your job. Get a bunch of people here so your business will explode. Go ahead.
I guess really, what do you want to hear about? What's a question? Anybody got any?
Yeah, let's open the floor to questions. Anything you want.
Okay, then I'm getting a bar stool. I'm jet lagging a little bit. Bar stool. Where's the bar stool? I don't want your bar stool. This is excellent. Thank you, dude.
Is it Neil?
Yeah.
Yeah, Neil.
I think real estate's quite a roller coaster industry, like what Brent was saying, you get excited and depressed, excited and depressed. What advice would you give agents to keep their mindset solid?
When I became an agent, one of the very first things that I did, once I started to get commissions coming in, is I actually put myself on salary, one of the challenges in commission-based business is we tend to live commission check to commission check. And we obviously want to go and build those commission checks up, but we also want to live within a budget. And so I went and set up a corporation, an S Corp. I put myself on salary. And then the nice thing about that is then you can actually start to look at your business from a profit and loss perspective. And then, every month or 3 months, but, in the early stages it can be every day. But eventually it's like every month or so, you start to actually look at what I spent, what was my marketing expenses, how many leads did I generate, what did those leads convert into in terms of contracts, and you start to evaluate your business as a business, and the one thing that, I think EXP, just because you start to get equity and you get rev share and those types of things, you start to actually track those things, but yeah, you need to start tracking those, early in your business career, so that you actually run it like a business. And I had a conversation with somebody the other day. I said, "Are you a business person building a business, or are you a salesperson building a business?" And they're two different mindsets. A business person is going to be a lot more strategic. A salesperson is going to just go all over the place. And you need both personas, but you need to spend a little bit of time focusing on actually running it as a business.
That's great.
So,
Another one?
thank you guys. So, I think one of the dangers in a market like South Africa, where I got in really, really early, and I've just taken the responsibility of leading the thing and running the events and creating the resources, and I'm glad I did, because it's grown and it's doing well. And yet the danger is that leaders almost default to leaning on the stuff that I've done and that I'm doing. I want you to just tell them, cast a bit of vision for stuff. I mean, we've got Build Africa, and I'm committed to doing that once a year. But during the year, what sort of things should they as leaders be doing to build their organizations, to build a culture, to build the relationships? Like,
It's very good.
yeah.
Jay,
You want me to take that?
Yes.
I think it just goes back to connection. I know we're a broken record in the sense that, if you're connecting, I honestly believe that selling houses is no different than recruiting and building a group here. We do not think it's any different, because it is about the people that you're connecting with. And I just said, lead by example. Don't tell people to do something you're not willing to do. They will follow you if you have that mindset. So leadership from find your niches and connect with them, whether you're using technology like Zoom. I said that yesterday. I hope y'all do. Everybody needs to either be a part of Zooms. We have really done and I said, when you're on a Zoom, it's not about, if I'm leading a Zoom, I am never going to make it about what I'm saying. It's about connecting with that person that's on the Zoom. I did a Zoom. I got up last night because I'm committed. And they know it. When they see me at 4 o'clock in the morning, I was in the lobby of the Marriott doing a Zoom. And you know what? We brought 2 people to EXP last night at 4 o'clock in the morning. And when you know that they know you're going to be there for them, it's lights out. And that's what's driven us. We don't have the biggest group at EXP, and we've never. The other thing is don't compare yourself to others. I think we run into this thing that, everybody in here's goals are different. Run your race. I've never had an accountability partner because I have a mirror. I have a mirror, and that mirror says, you got to provide for your family. And we've, I know I'm kind of going a long time here, but 2008 was a nightmare for us. I'll tell you this, and I want you to understand this, and I'm a very emotional person, in case y'all don't know. In 2006, we had a team. They were all bartenders because, see, here's the deal. Bartenders know how to talk to people. They know how to connect with people, or they wouldn't be bartenders. And we had 5 guys, and I brought them all out of the restaurants, and we sold 219 houses in that year. And then 2008 comes, and I was building a subdivision, and I was going big. I lost everything. Ashley had a health club. It went under. And, the thing is about that is, I said this yesterday, everybody, you mentioned it. It's a roller coaster, okay? Just stay in the game. Don't let the world take you out of your game. And you guys are gonna. I see the movement. We're coming back to go to Africa.
Yes.
You know what, Brent? We made a good donation, so thanks for matching it. All right? We helped. Ashley was like, hey, we made a donation, and she goes, oh, that's a good donation, you know. So lead by example.
What was the question?
I don't know what the dang question is. Don't ask me. Ashley remembers things. I don't.
He wants me to go, then he'll chime in. The question
Ashley
was.
has something to
I can
say.
add something to
Oh,
it.
please do.
So I was just saying to Sheila, I was like, this room right here is us 6.5 years ago
Yeah.
in the States. I mean, it was a relatively small group. And so to your question is, we have built our individual organizations while building the we, while building all of us. So that is important. There are things that you're going to do, you know, for everybody at EXP, and there are things only because your time's limited. You know, you can't be everything to everybody. So you do have to find what is that I do for the people that I bring in and in my organization, and then what do I do for everybody. So those are two different things to look at.
And Brent's a huge giver. You know, Brent's a huge giver. Glenn's a huge giver. So that's just so critical.
Yeah.
Got to have that mindset. What's another question?
So, well, I want to take a stab
Okay,
at that.
yeah.
So the question was, what can you guys do? He does this once a year for you, but what can you do back in where you're from, right? And so, my office, I moved into 7 years ago out of Keller Williams. I had to go get an office at Regis. I had people they'll go rent a small office in the strip center or next to a mortgage broker or a title mortgage company. It's about the size of these couches. My whole office. I've been there for 7 years. I just got the keys last week to my new office. It's 8,000 square feet.
Wow.
It's got 17 private offices, 4 glass conference rooms. We built it from scratch.
Wow.
So it's awesome. Grand opening's the 12th of March. You'll be taking video, red light, red carpet, searchlights across the sky. Grand opening. It's going to be awesome. It's going to say EXP on the clouds. So live music, people dance around playing the violin as they come up and inside. It's going to be quite the deal. So it's my global office. But I really believe you should get a little hub wherever you're from, even if it's this big, somewhere where your team can come hang out with you. So what I got going immediately, you know what we did? Like immediately, Friday nights I do movie night at the office. And I went down to Sam's Club and bought a big TV for like $799, and I had a giant like 80-inch TV, and we'd watch Gene Frederick, we'd watch Rob Flick, we'd watch Glenn Sanford, we'd watch videos and pop popcorn and have hot chocolate and tea and whatever. But we'd sit there. That was my idea of a good time, and we did that Friday nights. Then we would rent cabins that next year up in the mountains, or rent a beach house. Come to the beach house, and we'd hang out and play board games, and we'd pull people together and have different people speak, have hot seats like this. So we were doing picnics, we were doing lake parties, we were doing cabins, and then like, you know, we were new, we always didn't have the money to fund it ourselves. So we'd say, hey, to a mortgage broker, could you come up? Can you come up and help offset this? And then we'll let you speak to the group, and you'll get all kinds of loans. So you think, well, I don't have money. You be creative. There's a way to get the money. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So we were doing that all the time. Go back and create events and be super inclusive. From day one, I've invited everybody. Jay and Ashley, they're not my business, and they love me and I love them. I love their people. They love me, my people. And so it's really an us thing. EXP is a us thing.
Yes.
And so if you hold it like this, and know what people that do, just let it go. Don't be a victim. Be victorious. Say that's great, but you be you. Be loving. Be inclusive. Yes.
For a new person coming in, and I'm coming into the team, and we're already busy. You know, life is busy. Early in the morning, crazy, run here, and I privilege meeting Stuart early on. What do you think the number one focus area should be to help streamline coming into EXP?
I'm going to take a 60-second answer. My team did nothing with EXP. I was one who did something with EXP. My team was not interested in expanding, recruiting. They just wanted to sell real estate. So I let them do that, like all 18 of them. And I let them do that. I didn't interrupt that. I immediately cut my production in half from 60 to 30, so I'd have more margin. And then I focused on meeting people for coffee every morning, and then putting them in front of people in the afternoon. As I went on listing appointments every day, as I have my 8 children, a wife of 32 years, and so I was busy. But you'll burn the candle at both ends for a little bit. You will. I won't tell you won't. But it was fun to meet someone at 7 or 7:30 for coffee. They get excited. I go to work all fired up. I did real estate the rest of the day. So you have time. You build this little cracks of time. And then Friday night, do a movie night at your office. Invite people and watch EXP Talks. It's awesome. That's my advice. So 60 seconds. Your turn.
I just want to say, if you invite people on a Friday night for coffee in Cape Town, you will get shot. We do wine.
Hey, do what you do.
Yeah. Well, cool. Your turn.
All right, Clint, have the last word, and then we're done.
Okay, yeah, I think at the end of the day, get clear, get clear on your goals. Going back to the leadership question, everybody here can build large businesses if they choose to. The reality is in most groups of this size, 3, 4, 5 of you will really take the bull by the horns, but every one of you can take the bull by the horns. And it's really a choice. And if you go for it, you do this, 2, 3, 4, 5 years, there's no reason why you couldn't leave a legacy for your family going forward. But it takes you need to step out. You need to whether it be, say, to Stephen or anyone else, I'm going to start doing events in my community, and just own the fact that you now are doing events. Get on Workplace. Talk about the fact that you've got things going on there. Bring up, especially in the early stages, any EXP agent that can fog a mirror, get them into the room. So when you bring other people there, it just sort of builds on itself. So as it gets bigger, it becomes the venues have to get bigger, or you have to be more selective. But in the early days, include everybody in everything you do.
Love it.
Okay, James, thank you very much.